Okay, Rabbi Sai, the end of the farbrengen is as follows. Chamisha BiTeves, Hey Teves, which is today, this Yom Tov, is for a chassid, for sure, the most important day in the Chassidish calendar. I don't want to say more because I don't need trouble, but for sure, if you're Lubavitcher chassid, it's more important than your Teskislev, it's more important than your Bistamas, it's more important than Chayalu. It's not only more important because we won. It's more important because of what we won. And it's you have to understand the story of Chamisha BiTeves. You have to understand what happened and why it is the Yom Tov, the Moed and the Yom Tov that it is. I just want to say before we start that in Mem Zayin in 1987, when we won the case, I was still a bocher. I was in California on Shlichus, and they all came from the Rebbe. That we should forget about the whole case. We shouldn't collect. People used to collect the papers from the trial. People have, guys 2 years younger than I have whole books of every page of the trial. You shouldn't collect the paper of the trial. You shouldn't. The Rebbe said not even to read the verdict, which is only 20 pages. Forget about it like it never happened. This was the hero we got. So in Mem Zayin, it seemed like the Rebbe's attitude was this was a blip on the radar and finished. Then came Beis Kislev Mem Ches, which I was in 770 then. I have to say I was sitting inside and learning, and guys came flying in, and everyone picked up a book. One guy picked up a Tanya, one picked up a Tilim, one guy picked up a Siddur, one guy picked up a Sefer Yitzira, a big letter. The Rebbe got so upset. The Bacham didn't know what to do with themselves. The Rebbe got so upset. So when it came Chamisha BiTeves the next year in Tavshim Amches, the leadership, Aguch and the Gaboyim, they were afraid. Because it seemed to them that from the Rebbe this was not the kind of thing that's going to be sustained. It happened, it's finished, it's past. It ad kedei kach that Rabbi Yossi refused to prepare the Maimer. Rabbi Yossi the Rebbe started being Magiyah Maimorim. By Memchas was already official that the Rebbe's Magiyah Maimorim, edits Maimorim on a regular basis. And Rabbi Yossi didn't want to prepare the Maimer, so they prepared it themselves. I believe Hershel Notek, my son said it was Shalom Charatona, but I think it was Hershel Notek. They prepared a Maimer from the Rebbe, they sent it to the Rebbe. The Rebbe worked much harder than he normally worked, because Rabbi Yossi did the work. There was less for the Rebbe to correct. The Rebbe worked much harder on the Haggadah, and he wrote on the margin that this is Targum Miluli Bilvad, it's only a translation of my words, and if you talk to people who work in the Rebbe's Torah, the worst insult from the Rebbe, the worst criticism from the Rebbe was Miluli. The Rebbe did not want you to write his words. The Rebbe wanted you to write his ideas and write them clearly. And the Rebbe was not happy. So the Rebbe let them print it, but without a margin, without a border. It just said, if you have one of those kuntresim, it's worth money. It's a collector's item. It's a kuntris. It's typed like a muga maimer. It says maimer v'adi dav dosh memvav, the Rebbe's name, with nothing else. There's no marachas haitzrach, none of it. All the decorations are missing. When the Sefer came out at the end of that year, the Rebbe allowed them to put a border on that page. But when the maimer came out, so what happened was, came Shabbos, the following year, so the Gaboyim were afraid to make a farbrengen, the Aguch was afraid to make a farbrengen, everyone was afraid. And the Bochum did it. They put a sign on the wall that tonight's going to be a big farbrengen. The Rebbe starts the farbrengen. Shabbos, Chamisha BiTeves, Tavshin Memches, that it's written on the wall that today is Yom HaBoyer. The Rebbe started the farbrengen. And the Rebbe spoke about the Yom Tov of Chamisha BiTeves. If you look in the Sikh is edited, you can read it yourself. Where the Rebbe said, Hayom Elon Skon Benasim, every year it happens again. He spoke about like you speak about a Yom Tov, like Yitzhak Kislev. And one of the things that Rebbe mentioned in that farbrengen was Lashon Acheres Kovim. That the Gemara says by Chanukah, that after the Nes of Chanukah, it didn't become a Yom Tov right away. It didn't become a Yom Tov till the following year. There's different reasons why, but this is the fact. So the Rebbe indicated that last year, Aitaka said, forget about it. He didn't explain, but this is the understanding. Now it's a Yom Tov. So Chamisha BiTeves became a Yom Tov in Tavshim Memches, 1988, 1987. It's a detail. The reason I'm bringing this up is I want you to understand that Chamisha BiTeves is not a Yom Tov that radical mimush. They have different names over the years. All the Mishagoyim, they changed names, but they're the same Chevre. This is not a Yom Tov that if you Bachim thought up at 4 o'clock in the morning after Mashke, this is a Yom Tov that the Rebbe made. And the Rebbe made one Yom Tov. The Chedesh Kislev is not a Yom Tov the Rebbe made. It's a Yom Tov we made. Even Chav Chasiven, I looked at the Sikha. The Rebbe did not make Chav Chasiven into a Yom Tov that every year happens again. Chamisha BiTeves is in that list of Yom Tovim, Amoyadim, which the Rebbe made, of which we now have 4. Yotes Kislev, Yud Kislev, Yud Beis Tammuz, and Chamisha BiTeves. These Yom Tovim made by the Rebbe. Now there's a word from the Rebbe, which is very important. Benegay Yotes Kislev. That there's 2 types of holidays. There's 2 types of holidays. One kind of holiday is an event happens, so you make a celebration. Another kind of holiday is an event happens, so you know that you should have been celebrating. Some days are special because special things happen. Some days are special because special things reveal that they were always special. Like you have in the Chumash, that Pesach was always special. That's why the Maisa of the war with Avraham and the Dal Malachim happened on Pesach. Pesach was Pesach before it was Pesach. When Eibishter created the world, Pesach was special. And the Rebbe brings in his Siches, in the letters, that Shas Tshuvas Min HaShamayim, which was written 800 years ago, writes about Yotes Kislev, Hayom Yom Shlishi. Today is Tuesday, Yotes Kislev, V'hu Yom Besoira. It's a day for Besudas Tevis. So the Rebbe says Yotes Kislev didn't become a Yom Tov because the Alter Rebbe went out of jail. We found out that Yotes Kislev is a Yom Tov because the Alter Rebbe went out of jail. But the Yom Tov of Yotes Kislev is built into the hardwire of the world, of the hard drive of the world itself. And this is why some Yom Tovim come and go. Right? The Gemara says in Zman Bayisheni there was a whole bunch of Yom Tovim. There's a whole book of Yom Tovim called Megillas Tainis, which is quoted all over the Shas, which you have in every month 4 or 5 Yom Tovim. One of the Yom Tovim, which is mentioned in Megillas Tainis, is Chanukah. If you know the Gemara in Masechta Shabbos, where the Gemara asks, "My Chanukah," and the Gemara says, "Tanu Rabbanon," and brings Elin Yermaya and the Asr Lamisbad Bahain, Asr Lamisanya Bahain. That's the quote from Megillas Tainis. Megillas Tainis says, "These days you're not allowed to fast. These days you're not allowed to eulogize the Yom Tovim," and he brings Chanukah. But the Gemara says, Batal Megillas Tainis. All the Yom Tovim that we had in Zman Bayisheni, with the exception of Chanukah, we don't keep anymore. Why? Because those Yom Tovim celebrated something that happened. And when you forget the Nes, when the people to whom it happened and the children and the grandchildren pass away and the situation changes, if you don't relate to the miracle, it's not a holiday for you. So why is Chanukah still a Yom Tov? Because Chanukah is not a Yom Tov because of an event. The event is because of the Yom Tov. When the Eibishter created the world, Chav Hei Kislev is connected to Chanukah's Beis HaMikdash. Like we know from the fact that when they built the Mishkan in the Midbar, it was finished Chav Hei Kislev. And Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to make Chanukah Chav Hei Kislev, Beis HaLav Tafim Tes, 2449. And the Eibishter said, this day is destined for Chanukah, but it's going to wait a little while. We're going to wait till the Chodesh Nisan. The Chodesh Nisan, they made the Chanukah. 1,200 years later, you have the Nes of Chanukah. But the Nes is a reflection of the energy of the day. So this is the difference. When Chassidim make a Yom Tov, something, we have twice a week got a Dida Natzach. Why? We got to say l'chaim. A Yom Tov that the Rebbe makes is not a reflection of an event. A Yom Tov that the Rebbe makes is a siman that this is an inyan pnimi. When the Eibishter created the world, you know that in the Navi, there's a book called Ezekiel Yechazkel. You know how it starts? Vayihi, B'shleishim Shana, Baravi'i, Chamisha BiTeves, Niftuch HaShamayim V'ere Maras Elikim. Verstehst Lashon Kodesh, Hebräisch, du bist gelernt in Old Teire. Vayihi, in the 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day, the heavens opened up and I saw Lakus. Vayihi B'chamisha Shleishim Shana, Baravi B'chamisha. Now the problem is that it's Tammuz, it's not Tevis. But for a drasha it works. If I wouldn't tell you, you wouldn't know. Until tomorrow morning I get away with it. But that's the truth. But Chamisha BiTeves is a Yom Tov which the Eibishter put into the creation. And it was revealed because of this Maaseh. And you want to raya the whole story with the books. Any person with half a brain. It's such a petty story. It's such a sad story. It should have so not happened. It doesn't make sense. I mean, people have fights. I mean, you guys are people. You live in the world. You know, guys, people have fallen gods at politics. This is such a stupid fight. And it was so poorly executed, and the end was so bad. The only hezbid is that this is an inyan pnimi, that just like in the times of the Alter Rebbe, the Samach Mensch in Frumiyid to come out against Chassidim, and by the Friedrich Rebbe, it wasn't enough Frumiyid yet to have children of Chassidim. The Samach Mensch the children of Chassidim to arrest the Friedrich Rebbe. In our generation, the Samach Mensch in the kinder from the Rebbe Malay, that the Rebbe's own mishpacha should fight a war against Kol HaKodesh Lanu. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But the Teitzah is this Yom Tov, this Moyed, the Yom Tov of Chamisha BiTeves, which we celebrate each year. And the Nekudah of the Yom Tov is, there's a lot of aspects to it. I'm going to say l'chaim, I'm going to sing, I'm going to farbrengen, but when I'm asked to come to farbrengen, the first question I ask my host is, so how long are the guys going to stick around? I'm not going to tell you what Moshe said, okay? But it's his opinion of you. It's his opinion of you. I dare you to prove him wrong. Well, when you push it still here physically, morgen the tag von Arbeit, aber es ist Freitag, a kleiner Tag. Anyway, the nekuda of this moyed is ma zarei b'chayim ma afu b'chayim. That there was an argument that when the Friedrich Rebbe passed away, everything the Friedrich Rebbe owns ends. Not just his life ends, but his Rebbeship ends, and his Nesius ends, and his Ashpah on people end. It's all finished. And if it's all finished, the spoils is left for the Mishpach. And that was what are you talking about? The Friedrich Rebbe passed away. The Friedrich Rebbe is more alive now than he ever was during his physical lifetime. Why? Because the Ashpah of the Rebbe is greater than it ever was. And that's us. That's Chassidim, that's Anash, that's Shluchim, that's Tmimim, that's Balabatim. Ma zarei b'chayim af hu b'chayim. Because Lubavitcher Chassidim, 31 years after Gimel Tammuz, have such a strong identity as Chassidim, and such a strong sense of duty. Every Lubavitcher, and we're not talking about children anymore, we're talking about grandchildren, are raised with a sense, I got to make a difference in the Eibishter's world. This is the ultimate zarei b'chayim. And it's the ultimate gili of hu b'chayim. That's what this Yom Tov is. Every year that passes, Chamisha BiTeves is a bigger Yom Tov than it was the year before, especially since Gimel Tammuz. Because every year that passes, you see more this idea that doesn't make any sense in Seichel. That it says in Tanya that Chai at Tzadik Einam Chaim B'Sodom. These are the Rebbe's words. Chai at Tzadik Einam Chaim B'Sodom. The life of a Tzadik is not the life of the flesh. The life of a Tzadik is Avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem and Emunas Hashem. Love of God, the fear of God, and faith in God. And there's no hefsek in such things. There's no interruption in connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And where is the Chai at Tzadik? So when the Chai at Tzadik is in the B'chaim Ches B'Amadein, it's in a goof, which the Alter Rebbe says limits him. And when there's an inyan from hefsek, when there's an interruption to that, where is he? He's found in the Dalet Amis. The Alter Rebbe explains up Pikapola, the Dalet Amis of Teda Mitzvahs, and Kol HaKod of Kedem L'Bracha, the people who are Mekusha to the Rebbe, or as the Rebbe says in his letters, who become Mekusha to the Rebbe even now, because they never saw the Rebbe, they never met the Rebbe, but they're Chassidim of the Rebbe, and they follow in the Rebbe's ways. In them the Rebbe lives, and through them the Rebbe is revealed in the world. This is no longer Lubavitcher radicalism. It's an undeniable truth. Kula alma loy pli. All the things that the Rebbeim said, how a Rebbe lives forever, it was nice talk. When the Rebbe said about the Friedrich Rebbe is alive, we laughed. Why? The Rebbe. But it's 31 years since Gimel Tammuz. And nobody can deny that all those things that the Rebbe spoke, bekesher with the Sfarim, that a Rebbe's life doesn't have a hefsek on one condition. A Rebbe's life doesn't have a hefsek on one condition, that they're Chassidim. And the Chassidim do what the Rebbe wants, and they dedicate themselves to give the Rebbe nachas ruach. And for better or for worse, this is us. And this Yom Tiv does not only benefit the Rebbe, it benefits us. Could you imagine if we're not Lubavitchers? Could you imagine? I can't even imagine it. It's an impossible thought to think. It's an impossible, our whole identity is the Rebbe. It's an obligation. It's not easy to be a Lubavitcher. There's a lot of responsibility, and there's the constant sense of I'm not good, it eats you up alive. And you never get over it. You go to therapy, and you tell yourself you don't care, but you do care. A Lubavitcher chosed it's like an oyster with a speck of dust. It just rubs and it rubs and it rubs, and something good comes from it. This is why this Moyed, this Yom Tiv, it's not a story about books. It's not a story about books. Books were the excuse for the Gilui. Books were the opportunity for the Eibishter to bring this Moyed, to reveal this incredible idea. First of all, we're talking L'chaim here, yeah? L'chaim Tei Misham Chaim L'Bracha. We want Mashiach now. L'chaim everybody. L'chaim L'Bracha. La 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 I lie 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 la da 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 la lie 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 la da 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 la lie la 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 lie la 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 lie 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 da 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 la lie 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 la da 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 la dam la 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 da 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 la 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 na na la da 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 la 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 da 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 la 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 da 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 la da. You guys, okay? If you're not going to sing, I'm going to talk. That's how this operates. Avram. Nu Anigin, but someone that everybody knows, please. Not too exotic. Allah didem la 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 khan lebracha la 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 didem la 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 ya la 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 oh ya la 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 did him la la ya la 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 did him la 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 ya la la ha ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 He's a tzaddik. I'm sorry. Okay, so when I finish singing. Ya la la, ya la 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 la.